I never believed in ghosts, spirits, or anything like that. I still don't know if I do. But something happened last year that I can't explain, and it still makes me sick to think about. My wife and I had just moved into a new house in a quiet part of Indiana. It was an older home, built in the 60s, with creaky floorboards and thin walls. But it had a big backyard and enough space for us to start a family. Our daughter, Lily, was born in October. We set up her nursery across the hall from our bedroom. My wife bought this fancy baby monitor with a video camera and two-way audio. You could watch the feed on your phone and even talk through it. The first few weeks were fine. Sleepless nights, sure, but nothing weird. That changed one night around 2:30 a.m. I was lying in bed, half awake, when I heard the monitor make this soft click sound, like it had just turned on. Then static. Not loud, just a faint hiss. I looked at my phone and saw the live video feed had switched on by itself. Lily was asleep in her crib. Nothing unusual, until I noticed something in the corner of the room. It looked like movement, just for a second. I blinked. Nothing. Maybe my eyes were just tired. I closed the app and tried to sleep. But then, around 3 a.m., the monitor clicked again. This time, the static was louder. I opened the video feed and felt my chest tighten. There was a man standing next to Lily's crib. Not a shadow. Not a trick of the light. A real man. Bald, pale, and completely still. Just standing there, staring down at her. I jumped out of bed and ran into her room. My heart was pounding so hard I felt dizzy. But when I opened the door, nothing. The room was empty. Lily was still asleep. I checked the windows. Locked. Checked the closet. Empty. I told my wife what I saw, but she thought I was just overtired. "You probably dreamed it," she said. "But I know what I saw." That was just the beginning. Over the next 2 weeks, the baby monitor kept turning on by itself. Always around 3 a.m. Sometimes it was just static. Sometimes there were whispers. I couldn't make out the words, but they sounded like a man's voice, soft, almost like he was humming or speaking low into the mic. One night, I recorded the audio. I played it back the next morning with the volume turned all the way up. The voice was clearer than I expected. It said, "She doesn't cry when I'm here." I felt sick to my stomach. I wanted to get rid of the monitor, but my wife said we were just scaring ourselves. "It's just interference," she kept saying. "Probably picking up another signal." So I bought a new monitor, different brand, different frequency. For 2 nights, everything was quiet. Then on the third night, at exactly 3:03 a.m., I got a notification. Motion detected, Lily's room. I opened the app. Lily was sitting up in her crib, eyes wide open, not crying, just staring toward the door. And standing in the doorway was that same man. Only this time, he was looking directly into the camera. I leapt out of bed, yelling for my wife. We both ran into the room. Nothing. No one there. But Lily was still sitting up, pointing at the door. We called the police. They found no signs of forced entry. Every window locked. No fingerprints. Nothing. That night, we stayed in a hotel. We moved out a week later. Before we left, I set up the baby monitor in Lily's old room. Just for one last night. I told myself it was to prove that it was all in my head. At 3:03 a.m., I checked the feed one last time. The room was empty, but in the reflection of the nursery window, I saw a figure. Right behind me,